Good morning, my dear students of the first secondary. How are you today? Hoping you are fine. Today, inshallah, we are going to start with Act 1, part number 1. Okay? We don't have scenes of each act, but we will divide the act into parts. As we said last time, we have A Doll's House, okay, for Henrik Ibsen. In the last session, we talked about the author, and also we talked about the themes of the play and the main characters of the play. Today, inshallah, we are going to start with part number 1 in Act 1. Let's start with this question. Do you think that husbands are fully satisfied with their wives' expenses? Expenses here means money they spend. So we can say, of course, we can't say that all husbands are satisfied. Because we have some wives that we can say spendthrift, and the spendthrift here. So this is the same word that was used in the novel, in the act, from Thorvald to his wife, and he called here spendthrift. Okay, so let's start with, let's see who Nora and her character was. So number 1. The act started with, it's Christmas Eve. Christmas Eve evening, of course. Nora Helmer enters the house with packages and a Christmas tree. Okay? She pays the porter double what she owes him. The porter here, the man who carries the bags. So she gave him what? Double what she owes him. So this is the first note here about what? About her character in spending the money. Okay? So, number 2, she seems really happy as she continually laughs and hums to herself. Okay? Something like singing, of course. Nora sneaks. Okay, a couple macarons. Okay, what is macarons? Macarons is a soft, round, sweet biscuit. And here he said what? Nora sleeps. Sleeps here secretly. Okay, and she started to eat what? To eat the macarons. Why secretly? She didn't want, of course, anyone to see her, especially her husband. Okay, so out of her pocket and nibbles on them. Okay? She didn't want anyone to see her, especially her husband. So, in this extent, the power of Thorvald or Helmer on his family and on Nora, okay? So, number 3, Thorvald Helmer, her husband, called from within. Okay, he was staying in his study. What does it mean, study? Study, this is a room, okay, in your house that has books and a desk, and you can write. If you are a writer, to write stories, or you want to study also your lessons. So this is called study. So Helmer was inside his study, and when he knew that she came, okay, he called her his skylark. Skylark, this is a bird, okay, and it is considered one of the pets you can bring in your home. And his little squirrel, squirrel, of course. Okay, so squirrel, is that supposed to be endearing? Okay, so is it emotive? Okay, or a good feeling, nice feelings to say to my wife that you are a squirrel? Okay, so I can call my wife, of course, any name, but I can also call her a good name of a bird, or a good, for example, a good dish of food or something like this. But to say a squirrel here, okay, it's not accurate if I consider that we have a good relationship between a husband and a wife. So Helmer pushed out his hair out the door of the study, and criticized, okay, criticized here, blamed here, okay, for what? For spending too much money. All these packages, all this tree, all these presents, okay, for the Christmas, okay, you spend a lot of money, my wife. So after that, Nora objected. Objected here means what? To say no. Objected to such idea. About what? About hair, okay, thrift. So say his thrift, sorry. What do you mean by thrift here? His thrift, his opinion about spending money. So we have here contradiction between what? Between the idea of Helmer about spending money and what? And his wife. Okay? So here Helmer saving money and not spend a lot of money, so this is the idea of Helmer. Okay? Which paradoxically, okay, different from what? Different from his wife. So saying that he's got a great salary. Who said that? Nora. Okay, why not to spend a lot of money? So this is Nora saying. Why not? Okay, here because my husband, you have a great salary. Now you became what? You became the boss of the bank. Okay, so it means that why not to spend a lot? Saying that he's got a great salary now and they can afford it. Okay, he reminded her that his new job didn't start until after New Year's. Yes, I am sure that I will become what? I will become the boss of the bank, but I didn't start my job till now. So how can I spend a lot of money and I didn't earn the first salary? So what if he were to get hit in the head with a brick? For example, if I borrowed money from people because I will after that pay back from my salary, but until I pay back, maybe I will die. So what will you do, my wife, in this case? What my children will do? Okay, who will pay back the money if I died? Okay, so what if you were to get hit in the head with a brick? How would they pay for it? Okay, so this is an idea. This is a respected opinion also. So here we can say, do you agree with Helmer about the necessity of saving some money? So of course we have different opinions, but personally I think that it is important, of course, especially nowadays. We have to save some money, of course, because we don't know what the conditions, okay, or the matters will run after that. So number 7 and 8, she suggested borrowing money if they couldn't have it, okay, but he blamed her, okay, so you can borrow money, why not, okay, so he blamed her that she had no understanding of the horrors of debt, you know debt, of course, okay, so again and again, if I owe money to someone, of course, my day and night will be busy of thinking when and how I will pay back this money. Okay? So, Helmer asked her what she bought for herself. But she stated she only needed money. Okay? So, Helmer accused her again of being a spendthrift, okay, like her father. So it seemed that, okay, her father is characterized by, well known by what? By his spending money a lot. So he said that you are like your father, okay. So do you think that such habit could pass down from parents to children? I don't know, but personally, I think that, of course, a lot of attitudes, a lot of values, a lot of principles, of course, passed down from the ancestors to their what? Their children. Okay? So, Nora hoped to inherit more qualities from her father, but Helmer wanted her unique personality. Okay? She hoped, okay, that she had a lot of what? A lot of values or attitudes from what? From her father. So, when Helmer asked her about macarons, she stressed her obligation to their promise before about never eating macarons. Helmer here asked his wife, did you eat macarons? This is macarons, okay? Did you eat? Okay? She said, of course not. Of course she ate before, okay, secretly. But she said, no, don't think about it. Because we had a promise before that I will never, okay, eat macarons. Okay? So, here I said, so what's the big deal? What's the big promise? Not to eat something. It's just cooking. What's the problem of Helmer about that? So a question here. Why do you think Helmer didn't want her to eat macarons? Perhaps, okay, he's worried about her health, for example, is not okay, safe, maybe, okay? Or what? Personally, I think that this is another tool at Helmer's hand to what? To spread his domination upon Nora. Okay? He will pave the way to her to walk in. What paved the way here? The way of his personality. Okay? So, you will do what I want. You will eat what I want. You will drink what I want. You will speak what I want and how I want. So this is Helmer. Okay? So, number 11. Helmer remembered happily how last Christmas Nora locked herself away to make paper flowers to decorate the tree. So they are talking about what? The last Christmas. Apparently, all of Nora's work didn't amount to anything. It was useless. Why? Because the cat ripped up all the flowers. Okay? It means that the cat here spoiled all the work of Nora last Christmas. Okay? Maybe here Helmer pointed to the result of her work, but maybe he didn't say that your work was very good. Okay? So he's talking about the bad result, not the effort that was done, of course, by Nora. So now they had two visitors, Dr. Rang and Mrs. Lind. As we said, Dr. Rang was a family friend for them, and Mrs. Lind was a childhood friend to Nora. So Dr. Rang and Mrs. Lind arrived at the same time. So Helmer took the first year, means Dr. Rang, to his study to talk together. Be careful that Dr. Rang, he is not just a friend, but he was a doctor for Helmer, because Helmer was or recovered from something horrible happened in the past, and we will know in this acting show. And the second, Mrs. Lind wanted to meet Nora, who didn't recognize her at first. You don't know me? Nora still no, I don't think so. Yes, you are Christine. Okay, yes, so at first, but then she burst out with happiness. Yes, it was Christine, her childhood friend. So So Nora told her old friend how happy she was with Torvald and the kids. Are you sure, Nora, that you are happy? Okay. So maybe she feared to say that I'm not happy. Maybe. Okay. So she went on to say that Torvald had been a main manager of the bank. She told Mrs. Lind about this. Okay, that my husband would become the boss of the bank. So she exclaimed to her friend how wonderful it is to have a family and lots of money. Okay, so can we say that really Nora was a spendthrift? She deserved the accusation of her husband. So she deserved, personally of course, I see that she deserved the accusation of a spendthrift. But I think that to be spendthrift in this occasion like Christmas, why not? Okay? And also I can say that my expenses are under control. You will become really, okay, the boss of the bank. Why not? Okay, to spend just one day. Okay, so Christine pointed out that Nora was still a spendthrift, just like in school. So here, when I find agreement between Mrs. Lind and Helmer about Nora, so I can start now to understand the character of Mrs. Lind. Okay, so maybe she is conservative. She also had some principles of Helmer. So Nora considered her opinion unfair. She had to work too, sewing and embroidery. So here, this is a secret. Okay, you mean that this is the secret that we had pointed before? No, this is the beginning of her secret, that in a period of her life she had to work. Nora had to work. Okay, this is careless about spending money. Yes, so she worked in sewing and embroidery. Embroidery's patterns are sewn onto clothes by threads. Okay, this is the work of what? Of embroidery. Okay, in the first year of her marriage, so we want to know about their life course. Torvald had worked himself way too hard trying to make enough money. Okay, so we can say that Helmer was entrepreneur. Entrepreneur in English means what? Who started from zero. Okay, he started his life when he was poor. Okay, so he tried to make enough money for the family. He got sick, and they had to go stay in Italy for a year in order for him. Okay, so Helmer was very sick, and he needed a quiet place, okay, to stay a year to recover. That was incredibly expensive because, of course, we don't have any income for Helmer in this period. So, what would Nora do about this? So she had to work, as we said, in sewing and embroidery. She had to borrow money. Also, she asked for more money from her father. But really, did she borrow money from her father? No, she's lying. Okay, so she had to borrow money from her father before what? Before he died, in order to pay for it all. Okay, so Mrs. Lind started to speak about her life. So now I have, okay, a wiki review about what? About Nora and Helmer's life. But what about Mrs. Lind? So Mrs. Lind started to speak about her life. She never loved her husband. She's a widow, as we said, okay? But she never loved him. She just married Mr. Lind, her husband, of course, because she had a sick mother and 2 younger brothers to support. When he died, his business fell apart and Christine was left with nothing. It means that her husband was what? Was rich. And she had to marry him. Why? Because she wanted to spend money on her sick mother. Okay? So, and the brothers, of course. Christine has been working herself to the bone. What does it mean, working herself to the bone? It means that she worked very hard, okay, until she was as slim, as thin as a stick, okay. So ever since then, recently, though her mother passed away, her mother died, and her brothers are now old enough to take care of themselves. So what's the problem now of Miss Lynn? She had what? She had children. Okay, she had to pay for them, of course. So why do you think Mrs. Lind visited Nora? Do you think that she loved to visit her childhood friend only, or she had a purpose for this visit? So this is what we will know, inshallah, next time. Thank you very much, and inshallah see you soon in the next session of part 2.